Good afternoon. Welcome to Prince George's Community College. As Janelle mentioned, my name is Crystal Smith, and I'm the Director of Student Academic Planning and Career Readiness. And Kyle Turman is a wonderful team member who has coordinated this event. This is our second year. I want to welcome you, and I want to encourage all the students here to use this time to really ask questions and to gain insight. I am a first generation college graduate myself. I am a proud graduate of the wonderful, the amazing, the awesome Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. And what I remember for undergrad, and what I remember most about my experiences, because I went to both, my undergrad was at HBCU. I went to the College of William & Mary for grad school, which was very different. And what I often tell people is who I am and how I define myself is 100% based on what I learned at Hampton University. What you will find is if you are able to have an HBCU experience, and I think everyone who has attended an HBCU will find that it is an amazing experience. It changes your life. You meet lifelong friends, and you don't have to go to an HBCU, so I'm not just saying that, but I'm saying that that's one aspect. But if you decide to participate in a club and organization, if you decide to pledge, you will have people who you will meet who will be lifelong friends, lifelong relationships. And so this is the time to ask questions. As a first generation student, there were a lot of things I didn't know. To be quite honest, I didn't know the difference between a fraternity and a sorority. And I know I'm not probably the only one. I heard someone say you weren't. And that was because there was no one in my household who had gone through that experience, right? And so I didn't have the opportunity you all have now, which is to have a panel of people here to help explain some of those things to me. So please use this time wisely, ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. All of the questions will be answered. Again, welcome to Prince George's Community College. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to our visitors. And I hope that you all have a wonderful time while you're here. Thank you.
Alrighty. Good afternoon. My name is Juan Charles. I'm a student here at Prince George's Community College. My title is Mr. Transfer. I pretty much go around campus talking to everyone here, talking to students, also parents and other professors, explaining how we can prepare all our students for transferring. If you have any questions afterwards, you can definitely ask, but let's go ahead and get started.
And hi everyone, I am the co-host. My name is Kalei Lawrence. I'm a business student at Bowie State University, a senior business student at Bowie State University. Thank you. And also a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Omicron Gamma Chapter.
Alrighty, before we get started, we're gonna have all our panelists introduce themselves. They're gonna say their name, their organization they're a part of, and how many years they've been on. Okay?
I've been in.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Hollins, and I am the Polaris president of the Beta Phi Omega chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated in Prince George's County. Full disclosure, I was a non-traditional student. I was military, so I started with an associate's degree in general studies and then transferred to the University of Maryland University College. Yes, I'm proud of that, UMUC. And again, for anyone who finds themselves in a similar position, I'm glad to answer any questions, or if you just want to catch me outside, glad to answer any questions that you may have about that experience. Oh, Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, and I was spring '07.
Good afternoon. My name is William Jackson. I'm the Vice Polaris President of Beta Phi Omega's Iota Phi Theta grad chapter. I've been in the chapter for 2 years, spring 17. I went to college, Chowan University, which first was, oh, you actually heard of it? Oh, shocker. So yeah, I went there, chartered Iota on campus, and yeah, there you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanne Grady, and I have over 40 years of service to Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I have held a number of positions in my chapter and chapters. I did start at the undergraduate level, and I've been bachelor's or president. I've been vice president. I'm now scholarship chair of my chapter, which is Prince George's County chapter, Zeta Tau Sigma chapter. And it's been a remarkable experience for me because it's given me a lot of life experiences, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm also a retired federal employee. I retired as EEO officer of the U.S. Marshal Service.
Ditto what Joanne said. No. Hi, I'm Janice Trent, and I am a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, Zeta Tau Sigma chapter. I love Sigma Gamma Rho. Anybody that knows me knows that. Currently, I am a professor at Bowie State University, and I walked in and saw one of my fratres who happened to have been one of my students. Love him. He was so good. I've held many, many positions in Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, including local, regional, and international offices. Just to let you know, you can reach out and touch our officers, so please come join one of us because we have something for you to do. I'm a 40-year plus member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, retired school administrator from DC Public Schools.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Pastor Dupree. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Been a member for 23 years. Currently active with the Prince George's County Alumni Chapter here in Prince George's County, Maryland. I am a graduate of Bowie State University. Bowie. I was a transfer student, so I transferred in from another college out of Georgia. So if anyone wants to talk about that, I'll be able to help you with that experience, transferring in. I actually transferred from a predominantly white institution, PWI, so I'll be able to discuss the difference going from a PWI to an HBCU, the different experiences, which is pretty unique. So I'll be able to talk about that. Also pledged at the graduate level, so I'll be able to discuss, pledging undergrad from the graduate level as well. I have a daughter who's also a Delta My soror, and she pledged undergraduate, so I'll be able to talk about, again, the experience going from graduate to undergraduate as well. So be able to help you guys with that as well. And also retired from the federal government in 2014. My background is in acquisition and contracting. Retired as a director of procurement, worked with the Department of Defense, and also with the executive office of the president with the Obama administration.
Hi, my name is Beatrice Wallace, a member, of course, of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Been a member of the great sorority for 36 years, pledged undergraduate back in fall 1982 at Towson State University. Now it's Towson University, I believe. Currently, I'm with the Fort Washington Alumni Chapter in Prince George's County. Again, retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel after 28 years of service. And basically right now I'm working for the federal government. I'm getting ready to retire again, so got about a year left. I'm so happy to see my niece Calais here. She's doing some great things at Bowie State University. And I want to say, like, when I started undergrad, like your director said, I'm a first generation college graduate. And from there, I started at Morgan State University, then I transferred to Towson State University. So basically, I can tell you the experience from going from a predominantly black institution to a predominantly white institution and deal with the challenges and just the caring for from your professors. But I'm just glad to be here and share my knowledge.
Thank you. Also want to add also that I am also a first-generation college student as well.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Good. Are you great? Yes. Good, good, good. I bring you greetings from the Omicron Lambda Alpha chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated in Washington, D.C. I am Brocklyn Qualls. I'm a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, where I attended Xavier University of Louisiana, the first African-American organization, university that is predominantly Catholic and the #1 producer of African Americans into medical school. Thank you. We're very proud of that. I currently am an education consultant, specializing in working with nonprofit agencies who serve children with and without special needs. I am extremely proud that I have committed myself personally to mentoring high school students and college students for the last 20 years. So I'm extremely committed to supporting high school students and college students living their very best lives financially, because college is expensive, and so we want to ensure that you do it the correct way. And I want to ensure that we together, the entire Divine Nine organization is here to support you, and we look forward to connecting with you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Candace J. Coates, and I am a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I became a member of the illustrious organization at the Delaware State University, located in Dover, Delaware, in 1891 land grant of the U.S. government. It's a historically black university. Again, I became a member in fall 2002. So I've been a member a little couple of days, and I currently serve as the immediate past president of my chapter, but currently the first vice president of the National Pan-Hellenic Council, located in Prince George's County. Also serve on the state level. I did some regional stuff, did some national stuff, but that's not important. We're here to talk about what we can do going forward. So if you have any questions about what you would like to do, about Zeta, about all of these organizations, or any curiosities that you have, feel free to ask. Professionally, I am the contract administrator, and I oversee every homeless shelter in the District of Columbia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Ellington. I'm a proud son of Prince George's County, a member of Gamma Pi chapter, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Started out at South Carolina State College undergrad, and then I transferred to Howard University, the Mecca. I don't really have to say too much more. I was initiated in 1984 as a lieutenant in the Army. When I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I'm a veteran as well. Retired as a major in 2004. But I have a son in college and another one in high school, so I wasn't able to retire. I still have to work. So, but since I did transfer, I can help you out as far as transitioning from, I went to an HBCU to another HBCU, but just going about, being a new student on the campus as a junior. I think I was a second semester sophomore. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kajami. I'm a brother of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I just crossed last spring. Originally from Brooklyn, New York. I'm also a graduate of the amazing, the legendary, the only HU that matters, Hampton University. I currently work in both management at Morgan Stanley. Thank you.
We got Howard and Hampton by each other. I don't know if that's good. My name is Roy C. Blackwell, and I am a Sigma Gamma Rho, and I came in spring 1998 at University of Toledo in Midwest, predominantly on white campus. I also chartered the graduate chapter in Toledo, Ohio, Iota Theta Sigma, and presently I am in the graduate chapter here in Howard County. And for whoever's a student here that don't know, I am a career and academic advisor, so you should know that. So I do work here at Prince George's Community College. I see some of my students out there. And So you all can get the perspective of me attending a predominantly white campus. I also came through my process my senior year, and I graduated on time. I had the GPA on time, and I went to graduate school. So if you all have questions about that, and you all know where my office is, Blayton Hall 124, you can talk to me as well. Okay.
Good afternoon. I came to attend the event, but I saw there was some colors missing. So my name is Ticora Scruggs. I am an employee of Prince George's County Community College. I am a member of the first Greek letter organization for African American women, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I graduated from Shaw University, the first HBCU in the South, so you see I enjoy doing first. I am a member of the Psi Epsilon Omega chapter that serves Prince George's County, Laurel, Bowie, and Greenbelt. And I want to share my experience. I started at a community college in this area, Northern Virginia Community College, and I transferred to an HBCU. So I can share that my experiences with starting at a community college and then transferring to a small HBCU in the South.
Perfect. Can we get another round of applause for our panel members? Alrighty. I know we just started, but I already noticed one thing about everyone standing up here. We're here for you all. We're here to help everyone at the end of their speech or what they said. Afterwards, you can come talk to any one of us. We are here to help. We can do as much as we can. This is what we want. This is what we love to do. We love to help students. Raise your hand if you're a student.
Yes, kudos to you.
Now raise your hand if you're going to come talk to us at the end.
Yeah. Some people get it.
Yes, you might feel like you have no questions, but you can always come say, hey, my name is Juan, nice to meet you. Because when that time comes, he's going to say, man, I remember shaking that guy's hand, pretty firm handshake. Let's hire him one day.
Right.
Oh, let's give him a $5,000 scholarship.
Can I speak to that real quick?
Yes.
No, let's speak to that because while we were standing in the lobby waiting, I met a young man who's sitting up there.
Hold on, I got you. We going to come to you.
No, I mean, sorry to do this, but what he just said, we were waiting. I was speaking to a young man I just met. He's right there. His name is Ben Simpkins. And we were just having a mutual discussion, and he mentioned that he does graphic arts. And something I said was, for my chapter's charting anniversary next year, I would like to talk to him about designing a logo. So forgive me for just interjecting like that, but that conversation actually just happened. He's right there, and we're going to have that conversation. I'm sorry to hijack. I want to say that.
All right. Ben, can you raise your hand again?
All right, Ben.
You ready to work? All right, Ben's ready. All righty, so we're actually going to go ahead and get started. We're going to get into a couple questions.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're good. Leave it there. It's okay. All right, so our first question. For all our panel members, why did you choose your organization? If you want to talk, nope. Oh, now you don't want to talk.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead, press button.
It's on. She on, and she ready.
Oh, okay.
She on and she ready. So again, my name is Candace, and I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And when I went to research all of the sororities, I got a couple family members that's some AKAs, no shade, I love them. But I had to do my research and do it for myself, and it couldn't have been an influence from a family member. And it could have been an influence from a teacher or someone that I met, but just doing my research and interacting with the members and when hearing that this is an organization that when I am going to join, it will be a lifelong commitment, it will be lifelong friends. That was something that stuck with me and resonated with me why I chose Zeta. just doing in general research, you know, I had to see that Zeta was the only organization that thought enough of finer womanhood to make it a principle. So that really drew me in. Not to mention the programs that they did, because I love children. But we all serve communities, so don't let me tell you that the community services Zeta did was what really drew me there. Because I could have joined Sigma Gamma Rho, I could have joined AKA, I could have joined Delta, because we all do service. But it is just what the members that resonated with me. The things that stuck out to me were the types of service that Zeta did, and that's what really drew me in.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I bring you greetings from the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Family, I wanted to ask you this question, and I want you to, ponder on this for a few minutes. Do you want to be a fountain, or do you want to be a drain? And so when I was looking at the organizations in which I wanted to inspire to, Alpha Phi Alpha stood out to me because at a time when in our U.S. history, African Americans were not matriculated to certain schools, and it was founded on the campus of Cornell University when we were having major civil unrest. And so I wanted to be a pourer. I wanted to be a part of a pouring community who said, we will set the standard, we will give, we will activate, we will promote, we will be responsive, we will be giving. And throughout our national programs, Go to High School, Go to College, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, and Project Alpha, we continue to this very day serving our community, whether or not it's domestically or internationally. And I'm very proud that March 13th, I'll be celebrating 20 years of service committed to an organization that's a part of a pouring community. And so I would like to thank everyone else on this panel because the Divine Nine, we are a pouring community. So don't be a drain, be a fountain.
Can we get a larger clap for 20 years? 20 years is a lot.
Well, for me, as far as why I chose Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I was actually in high school at the time. And the Deltas, it appeared to me that they were just doing so much in the community. They had so many different programs available for high school students. And that kind of, sparked my interest. So immediately when I went to college, my first year as a freshman, I'm kind of checking out all of the Greek organizations. I'm at, Morgan State University at the time. And again, it was just, Deltas are on the move. I mean, like the young lady said here, we're all doing public service, but for me, Delta Sigma Theta, they had a higher standard of public service. And they were reaching out not just to me as a new freshman on campus, they were reaching out to everyone, and they made me feel welcome. And they were leading and guiding, directing, and just making a difference in everyone's life.
Well, actually with me, in my town, the AKs were very popular in my town where I grew up in Georgia. And all of my older friends were actually AKAs. And me and my best friend, her cousin was an AKA. So we were actually, I wouldn't say groomed, but we were actually put on a path to be AKAs. So when I got to undergrad, I didn't know anything about Deltas prior to that. When I got on campus, I actually saw the Deltas. And so I became interested in the Deltas, was introduced to the Deltas, and I thought that I identified more with the Deltas than the AKAs. So I made a decision that I decided that I wanted to be a Delta and not an AKA. So I made a decision and told my best friend, she was actually at a different college, that I was going to do something different and not go the path of an AKA because I identified more with the Deltas. I thought that they were more in line with me, personality-wise, public service-wise, just more me. So I decided to do me, and sometimes in life you have to do you and not follow the crowd, and just be you. Don't do what others lead you to do. Take a step on your own, and that's what I did. So I made a decision to steer away from the path that I had been put on and pledge Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which was the best sorority for me. So that's why I pledged Delta, and not stay on the path that someone had put me on. So in life, you have to do that. And so take the advice that I'm giving you today is do what's best for you. And don't follow the crowd. Be you.
Thank you.
All right, before we continue, we're going to have 1 to 2 more panelists answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Zeta Phi Beta had their hands on me first. I was a debutante with the Zetas. I don't know how they let me go. I asked them, how did you let me slip through? And you know what? We are the Divine Nine. I was told, you're still working. And so we are all workers. We are all workers. We believe in community service. I'm a unique soror in that I did transfer, but I transferred from the other HU, Howard U. You know, because I decided to have my family early. Now, my student over there knows I teach sex education. My advice to all of you is not to have a baby while you're in college. You can do it, but it's not easy. So, I transferred to DC, at the time had 3 land-grant colleges, and Federal City College was one of them. I was working there in financial aid. You guys know about financial aid. And so I had a coworker who was a Sigma Gamma Rho. I told my sister soror here, I was looking hard at Delta, Sigma, Theta. But when my soror now introduced me to Sigma Gamma Rho, I couldn't turn back. And man, if anybody knew me back in the day, and I hate to say this in front of my student, but I did not want to be around a whole bunch of women. And so I wasn't. I pledged, and they pledged me hard. Wrong. They said I pledged them. So as a result of me pledging them, I was inactive because, remember, I didn't want to be around a whole bunch of women. I was single at the time. And so when I remarried, I became active in the Prince George's County chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. And held offices I never thought about holding, from just being an affiliate advisor to everything. They had me doing everything. In fact, I helped a charter as a basilisk, the chapters at Bowie State University and Maryland University. So, you know, you can come from down here and not think that you can become one of the Divine Nine, but you can. And you can reach out and touch every one of us up here. So if you're interested in any of us, please join.
Why I pledge Iota Phi Theta, again, as I spoke earlier, I was a non-traditional student. I was military, got out the military, had an associate's degree, then went to UMUC and finished my bachelor's. And to be honest, I didn't know anything about fraternities, nor did I think this life was available to me. And then in looking up the history of the different fraternities and finding out Iota Phi Theta, which was founded at Morgan State University, September 19th, 1963, had to get that in, was founded, several of the founders had been in the military, several of them also were fathers, and so it was always geared in the original days to non-traditional students. So from there, that spoke to me. So again, anyone who's pursuing that path of an associate's degree to a bachelor's degree and think that this life isn't available to them, as the soror just stated, this life is available to anyone who desires to explore it.
Thank you. Thank you all for your great answers. So at this time, I'm going to have I would like to have 3 panelists who haven't yet had the chance to speak as much, to talk about the impact of your organization on your college experience when you were actually in college, and then also if you could touch on maybe some auxiliary groups or other things that your organization offers. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll keep it short, and then I can let the other swords talk about some of the other groups we have. But basically, wait, what was the question again? There was a lot there.
I apologize. The impact that your organization had on your college experience.
Okay, let's start there. Okay, so, well, and it kind of goes into why I joined. When I came on, I was at a predominantly white campus, and I was looking for something that was positive that I can do. And so I heard all the rumors about being Greek, so I joined gospel choir. I was like, okay, gospel, but at the time, gospel choir was not very gospel. So then I was looking for someone who did service. So when I was on campus in 1998, and I joined as a senior, but then I followed through in grad school, basically, one thing I remember is that we always was doing community service. And at the time, we was always doing community service with the alphas. It was to the point where they're like, okay, are you an AK? No, I'm a Sigma Gamma Rho. But the alphas and us are going out in the streets. We did the pick up the trash on the needles and everything on the streets. We did we tutored. We did a homeless shelter. Everything that was needed for the community we did. It got to the point where, especially as an undergrad and you're young, you'd be like, can I have a free day? Saturday, I am up 8 o'clock in the morning doing something. But then as I got older, I realized that's what I joined the organization for community service and to give back to where I'm at. And even now, I'm at the Howard County chapter, and I'm also a fashion designer, a little plug. And so at my church, I just did, for one of the ladies of my church, Reed's Temple, another plug, is a breast cancer walk. So sometimes when, when it calls, and that's one of our national things that we do. So wherever you see it, especially being Greek, it just comes out. Like the lady was talking about she needs someone to help her do a fashion show, and I said, well, I'm a Sigma Gamma Rho. We do breast cancer, and I'll do the breast cancer walk with, we did the breast cancer walk, and we did the fashion show. So in saying that, being Greek, you never stop giving back. You never stop giving to your community. And even now, working here at Prince George's Community College, when some students might come in and ask about joining an organization, I first ask them what their grades are, and then, because it doesn't matter. And then I asked them, what is your major? Because you can be a Sigma Gamma Rho, you can be an AK, you can be a Delta, but if you're not doing it for the right reason, or if you're not doing it for service, then that's not something that's for you. You need to do something else. So I hope.
You have a fan club.
I just wanted to speak on the impact that my organization, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, has on the community in general. And one thing that I want to speak about is how we want to encourage students to go to HBCUs, because recently we were able to raise over $1 million for HBCUs. And we also have a mobile mammogram van that goes around for those who may not be able to have access to get the test. So not only are we making an impact on campuses, but we look at communities and how we make an impact. At Shaw University, one thing that raised my attention when it came to the chapter at Shaw University, Beta Rho, is that they were active on campus, but they were very relevant off campus. And it was a small HBCU in Raleigh, North Carolina, so when I kept hearing about how active they were on campus, that is just something that I know that when I was in high school, that was the first organization that I was interested in, because the high school that I went to, we didn't have a lot of community service organizations to come into our school, because they felt like they didn't need it. But the only organization that constantly came to my high school was Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So that told me that they didn't have limitations on who they served, they just wanted to serve. So it's important to me that I did more research and look for an organization that aligned with what I believed in, and that's why I chose Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
All right. To answer the question, what the Iota Phi Theta did for my school as I said, I chartered Iota Phi Theta at Chihuahua University, which was at first a all-female college. Then it went to an all-female university, and then they allowed males in, and then they're trying to change it into another sort of like a HBCU, but you know you can't do that. But they're trying to do that. And while I was chartering Iota Phi Theta on my campus, it was 7 of us. Two of them dropped out, but then because of our community service, what we had to do, we were supposed to community service every week. We had to do 5 hours community service every week before anybody even knew that Iota Phi Theta was charting on campus. So what we did was we always did canned food drives, went to the elementary schools up the street just to teach the kids, do anything that's community service-wise. So for the 2 guys that actually dropped out, they dropped out last minute, but what they changed in their life, after they graduated college, they decided to actually just go on and create their own business, which is actually community service food drives for homeless people that's in North Carolina. So even if we don't fully pursue Greek life, we might make a change in your life regardless of anything else, just how we actually work. So that's how we did it.
And just quickly, my name is, again, Mark Ellington. Again, I went to 2 HBCUs, South Carolina State, that's where I started, and then graduated from Howard. The Omegas were always, I was in ROTC, and and you know, like they said, all of us do community service, but being in ROTC, we have a rich history as far as the military is concerned and the military service. And one of the things that I think separates us from a lot of organizations is that friendship is really important to us. And the friendship that I saw amongst the brothers who were on the campus, both at State and at Howard, really got me interested in not only doing community service, but knowing that you're going to have lifelong friends. Because I was the only boy, so no brothers, but I have over 10,000 brothers now. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panelists. You guys were a wonderful panel. I'm pretty sure we learned a whole lot. During this time, we're going to have a transition where our panel will be released, and we will have Bowie State's Greek life come up. During that transition, however, there's some scholarships and some prizes and gift cards that we're going to be doing a raffle for. So, DJ, you can like drop a little beat, and we're gonna go ahead.
Y'all make some noise for these young men and women from Bowie State University. So yeah, we're just about to do a quick roll call of the organizations that are represented here. So I'll let them take it away.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Moore. I'm a senior finance major at Bowie State University, Fall 17 initiate of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, A to Zeta chapter.
Hello, I'm Japriya Perkins. I'm 21, criminal justice major from DC. I attend Bowie State University. I crossed Fall 17. I'm a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Greetings all. My name is Juwan Williams. I serve as the pole mark for the Epsilon Sigma chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. I'm a spring 2017 initiate.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kai Johnson, a senior sports management student at Bowie State University, and I'm a spring 18 initiate of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Sigma chapter.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nebi Asayas. I'm a 21-year-old senior broadcast journalism major at Bowie State University, keeper records and seals for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Sigma chapter.
How you doing, everybody? My name is Stephon Summers. I'm a junior business marketing major, part of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Sigma chapter, chaplain.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a senior citizen. Unfortunately, we don't have any undergraduate sorors. I am Karen Wilcox Lewis, proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated,
Jesus and I pledged at the same time. I pledged Delta, he pledged Q. Graduate of Morris Brown College in Atlanta, long before anybody in this panel was ever thought about. I'm an academic and career advisor here at Prince George's Community College, and I'm also adjunct faculty.
Good afternoon. My name is Kawan Kelly Gilmore. I'm a junior business administration major with a concentration in management. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Mu chapter. And this is my second semester, fall 18.
How y'all doing today? My name is Kevin Glasper Jr. I'm a junior sports management major, a concentration broadcast journalism. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and I'm part of the Delta Mu chapter, fall 18 initiative.
Yes, Delta Mu.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Malia Davis. I am a junior social work major at Bowie State University. I'm a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Omicron Gamma chapter at Bowie State. Initiate spring 18.
Thank you. Thank you, Mia.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Stevens II. I am the current advisor for fraternity and sorority life at Bowie State. Proud member, thank you. Proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Epsilon chapter, Langston University, Langston, Oklahoma.
How y'all doing again? We don't have a spokesperson for Bowie State, but we do have an interest meeting coming up. So since I'm the youngest out of the three of us here, I'll sit in for us.
Hello, my name is Roy C. Blackwell. Actually, I work here, and I'm not part of Bowie State, but I'm representing Sigma Gamma Rho. Okay, we got a Bowie, so we're here. So anyway, I am representing our educational system.
Thank you all very much. So my first question today would be, why did you choose your HBCU? Can I just have maybe like 3 panelists to answer that?
So Bowie State University actually found me. It wasn't my first choice, to be honest, but the way everything planned out, I was fortunate to land at Bowie, and it was probably one of the best decisions that I ever made, because once I got there, I was able to grow as a person and also in my career, and to this day, I feel like I wouldn't want to be at any other HBCU.
So I chose Bowie State University because my aunt, she told me that she went to Bowie, and she was telling me how good of an experience it was. I actually didn't want to go to Bowie, but I'm not really good at taking tests. So in high school for ACT scores, Bowie was the only one that selected me, and I felt like that was something that spoke to me, honestly, because the other schools, they declined me just for test scores. And I always believed that you shouldn't decide who should come to your college over test scores, because it's way more than just tests. Just because you're not good at tests, to me, that doesn't mean that you're not a good person or you're not smart. But a lot of people don't understand that. So for Bowie choosing me, I took that, and once I got to the school, I didn't really know anybody. So I was walking around quiet all the time, and I just felt lonely. But as I went on and been at Bowie, I noticed that everybody there treats you as a family. All you have to do is ask. If you're confused out on campus, people stop me all the time. They ask me, where's such and such building, and I tell them it's a friendly community. So I feel like you don't find that going to many HBCUs, but Bowie State, I don't let anybody talk down on it, not even at my job. Some customers, they laugh because they be like, what school do you go to? I say Bowie State University, and they be like, oh, he's saying that loud, and I was like, yes, I am. So yeah.
Yes, the illustrious Bowie State.
So my experience, I guess, would be a little bit different. I'm a third-generation HBCU student. My grandparents went to Albany State in Fort Valley in Georgia. My mother went to Morris Brown, but she ended up graduating from Oklahoma State. And I was going to actually go to Clark Atlanta University and play football. And my grandfather passed, and so Clark Atlanta let me out of my scholarship, and I wanted to stay in Oklahoma to be close to my grandmother. Langston University is the only HBCU in the state, so that's why I went to Langston, and I enjoyed it. It's how I ended up here. And so all of my steps were ordered through attending Langston University. So met my wife because I was active in Student Government Association, my fraternity, playing football, all of that was just the experiences of attending HBCU.
Similarly to many of you in the audience, I too began at a community college. I'm from Southwest Philadelphia, but the community college I attended is Harrisburg Area Community College, the capital of Pennsylvania. And I selected Bowie State University after coming for a campus visit spring of 2016. I wanted to get out of Pennsylvania for real because I wanted to come to a place that was more diverse, and the DMV being an area of many opportunities, I thought that it'd be great to challenge myself and come somewhere different. So upon being accepted to Bowie State University, I began making a lot of friends in almost every building. I'm a firm believer in friendship is essential to the soul, so whether it be financial aid or simply the custodians walking by, Bowie State is just a friendly environment, and it's not a big campus, so you can definitely make a lot of friends and leave your imprint. So that's why I chose Bowie State.
Yes, thank you. So what, oh, I'm sorry, did you have something? Go ahead.
You want to go ahead?
Okay,
You can go
yes.
ahead.
Thank you. What tips or advice would you give for managing and balancing, like school, personal life, and also Greek life?
Well, since I have the mic, okay, so balancing school, work, Greek life. Again, I pledged at Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. I was made in the fall of 1980, which was my senior year. I waited until my senior year to pledge because it was important to me to get what I went there for. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, and going away to college was a major experience for me because I left to go to college at 16. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess up my full ride scholarship and end up having to go back home because I wanted to be away and have that experience. And going to Morris Brown and HBCU was a real eye-opener for me because growing up, I was always in school with people of non-color. Does that make sense? You know. So, and a lot of Hispanics too, a lot of Cubans were there. So my educational path was diverse. Coming to Morris Brown was really good for me because I was around people that looked like me, people that understood the experiences that I had had and were going to have. It was a nurturing environment. Pledging, I waited, like I said, until my senior year to get all my schoolwork out of the way and know that I was going to be graduating. And for me, pledging was a good thing as far as school life was concerned. I didn't work. My parents didn't want me to do that. But the school life was really good because we were in the library when we were online. We were in the library every day, every day. So my GPA in my senior year was the highest throughout my matriculation at college, okay, almost a 4.0, which was, I mean, it wasn't a far leap from where I was, but I was glad to do it. Pledging Delta, best thing. How I got there, I have relatives. My mother, God rest her, is or was an eternal pyramid. She didn't cross because at that time, there was a lot of hazing, and I don't know if you all had already talked about hazing and harassing. There was hazing and things going on, and she felt like, you know, I don't have time for this, and the organizations aren't about that. Organizations aren't about that. We're about sisterhood, brotherhood, education, scholarship, service to the community. That's what we're all about. So my experience was really good. It'll be 40 years for me that I've been a member of Delta next year. And my line sisters and I get together annually to share stories and heartbreaks and joys and everything like that. So it's a bond that you will have for the rest of your life.
So
Aurora, could you ask the question again, please?
Yes. So what advice or tips would you give for managing personal life, school, of course, your academics, and Greek life?
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's hard. It's hard, but when when you take on certain priorities and you're really dedicated to your education, because scholarship is first, you'll make a way to balance everything. I promise you. In my personal opinion, I put God first, so he handles everything for me. But I put, schoolwork first, and everything follows through. Like I said, if you prioritize correctly, everything will fall into place. It's just a matter of being mentally stable, into your schoolwork and into yourself most importantly.
Yeah, just like Sora said, you have to have, mentally tough skin to balance out, time management. I'm actually a student athlete as well. I run track and field. So with that being said, you just got to know, what comes first, Is it, a Greek event? Is that party you want to go to, or are you going to go to that program? Some things, you just got to prioritize yourself. You're going to be tired. I think rest is very important. I'm big on rest, You don't want to, burn yourself out, get too overwhelmed with school, too overwhelmed with programs and things like that. So, my father growing up, he told me be big on time management, and unfortunately I didn't listen to him until now. But yeah, like I said, essentially I think rest is very important. If you get downtime, instead of hanging out with your friends, stuff like that, just get some rest, take some time to yourself.
All right, so for me, since I just graduated college last year, for my education history, when I started off in high school, I had a 3.3 GPA. So when I went to college, it was my first time away from my family and all that. I was like, I'm away from him. I'm gonna finally get some peace, do my own thing. And after my first semester, just my first semester, I ended up with a 1.5 GPA. So I was like, what did I do? So they sent me a letter saying, okay, since you got so low, we're taking your scholarships away, everything away from you, but we'll give you one chance and we'll put you in a little bounce back course. So you get a 2.0 on your next semester, you can get all your stuff back. So with me, I did that. I was like, man, I can't do this no more, because I looked at the bill afterwards. They sent me the letter, and then they sent me the bill on how much education would be after that. So it went from $20,000 to $40,000. And I was like, all right, nah, screw this, man. Let me go ahead and get myself together. So after that, I had to work from a 1.5, and when I ended my education career, I ended up with a 3.3. So all you had to do is just take your time, get time for yourself, get time for education, and then that's the main thing you need. Don't overwork yourself at all.
Juwan Williams, Kappa Alpha Psi. My tip would be prioritizing. In college, prioritizing is a big thing. In today's society, you have to stay woke and be aware of what's going on. There's a lot of distractions out there in our generation, such as like social media and stuff like that. So the biggest thing is just being aware of what's going on and staying on top of your game, because at the end of the day, you got priorities and you got to do what you got to do.
Japria, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. My tip is take time for yourself. Like, do not overwork yourselves. Like, that's one thing I'm still learning. Like, I overwork myself because I'm a people pleaser. Like, I really try to please people, like, to my best ability. Like, I will put something on the back burner because I want to make sure I'm doing what I got to do for them. And it's like, at the end of the day, that's not helping me become more successful in my career or anything like that. Self-worth, self-care, and prioritize.
Just real quick, I wanted to say that when I asked everybody to be here, they all, of course, said yes. But my young soror right here, when we were watching the graduate panel from Prince George's County, she was over there doing her homework. So those are the kind of priorities that we talk about. Like, we're here, but she's maximizing the most of her time to go over there and do her homework while we're here at the panel. So,
Yes.
Scholarship.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens, while you still have the mic, could you talk about the requirements for transfer students coming in and trying to join a Greek organization?
Thank you. So essentially, to transfer into Bowie State, you have to have one semester in as a full-time student. And so essentially 12 credit hours once you transfer. It is a 2.7 grade point average that you must have, and each organization individually has their own community service requirements that you have to fulfill before you can become a member. 2.7, yes. So 2.7 grade point average, and each organization has their own community service hours, and you must be enrolled at Bowie as a full-time student at least one semester prior. Correct. Now, normally that's the standard amongst most universities. It does differ when it comes to PWIs, as you normally can join an organization as a second semester freshman, but most HBCUs you have to be a first semester sophomore.
Thank you. If anybody had any chapter requirements for transfers that you wanted to share, you could share them. Okay. Thanks. And at this time, if there's anyone in the audience who has any questions, I would like to take questions from the audience. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Jalen Vines. My question is, have any of you guys ever had any regrets with joining your organization?
It worked.
Yeah, that's a good question. I personally wouldn't say that I had any regrets, but I had some. It was a more enlightening experience because it's kind of like, it's really like a corporation, honestly. Like once you get into it, like he's keeping records for his fraternity, I'm keeping records for my fraternity. He's a chapter president, and that really comes with a lot of responsibilities. So it's not, when you get to the campus, you'll see us, hosting programs, strolling, doing all that stuff. But it's a lot of things that go into that. Like he has to do space requests. I have to go meet with, the Office of Student Life just to make sure everything doesn't fall through, because it will.
I don't think any of us regret, joining our organizations, but my father's an alpha, so when you join an organization, I feel like you gotta do it from the heart. You can't do it because what other people think or what other people say, what you might fit in or look like. But yeah, you just gotta do it for it's for you. It's for your life. So no, I don't have regret. I'm sure nobody else does up here, and you just gotta do what fits you.
All right, so when it comes to Greeks, what I would say, since you're not non-Greek, ask them themselves, did you do it for pride or did you do it for props? Because a lot of people actually just, when they see organizations, they see the colors, they see like, oh, Qs, I like the purple and gold, I like doing the bark, I like doing up the hooks, I like doing all that. But when you ask them what do they do, then they'll actually see if they actually did it for their pride or if they did it for props, anything like that. Because if you did it for pride, you got no regret for actually doing it, because you're actually making a change in your life, other people's life, and everything like that.
And that's very good. And I want to add to that because I'm one of the older Greeks on this campus. I think for me, I think it's when you're undergrad and then when you become grad, you really, it progresses. Undergrad, now I didn't have any rhythm, so stepping was not my thing. But I was a community service person. I was out there speaking, doing the things like that. But then how I got to grad school is because, for example, one of my sorors, who was a student body president at Eastern Michigan, there was 10 minority scholarships. They were doing away with them. So she called me and I'm working at Lady Foot Locker, and I have my bachelor's degree. And she's like, do you want to go to grad school? I said, I'm not doing nothing else. I got a full ride for graduate school because of Sigma Gamma Rho. And that could have happened to any organization. But saying that, you don't know what resources and network you have. Because undergrad, I was just like, I'm doing shoes. Like, oh my God, this is my life. And then she called me, and if I was not a Sigma Gamma Rho, if I was not Greek, I would have not known that opportunity. I would have never gotten a master's degree, because my major was communication, not education. So it helped me direct my path. My major in communication, I was not a talker at all. And so once I joined my organization, I had no choice, I became a talker. I became to know how to present in front of people. I was able to understand the importance of education. So I think from undergrad, and if you're in it for the right reason, undergrad to grad, you just flow with it. Now, sometimes you always can't be financial because life happens, but you always have it in you. When someone calls for you to do it, you know you have that service in you.
I have no. Similar to everybody up here, I have no regrets whatsoever when it comes to joining my fraternity. In a sense, it renewed my enthusiasm about life in general. With that being said, I believe in pushing yourself and exceeding limitations. And joining my fraternity, in a sense, helped me realize what I'm actually capable of doing. Serving communities, being the best that I can be every day. I'm a first generation African American. Not only that, I'm the first one in my family to join the fraternity. So with that being said, I also would like to consider myself like a trendsetter for like my younger siblings, younger cousins, and in the future children.
Hi. Being as I'm super intrigued, I have a few questions. The first question is, what is the purpose of the hazing and the barking?
I will let them speak to the barking, but I will definitely speak to the hazing. So hazing is illegal. So there is no such thing as hazing. And should you ever find that there is hazing, please let any administrator on any campus you should attend know so that they can investigate it to the fullest capacity, because hazing is pretty much killing our organizations. And we take so much pride and time to join these organizations, put in so much money and effort to not only have it snatched away from us due to hazing lawsuits, but also the overall fabric of our organizations, which we help weave and we all sew into. So no, hazing should not be happening at all, and when it is happening, it should be reported immediately.
Thank you so much for asking that question. I was just talking to my great niece on over the weekend. She's a freshman at Howard, and she said that she had heard that the Deltas had been kicked off the campus. And I said, hey, I hadn't heard that. Went to our website, did some checking, and it was another organization that had Delta in their name. Hazing, for those of you who don't know what hazing is when you are being taunted and teased and beaten and degraded, okay, by the incumbent members of the organization while you are pledging, while you are online. It is illegal. It has been illegal. However, it still happens. In checking our website just this weekend, I was reviewing or saw some of the chapters that had been suspended. Why they've been suspended, I don't know. I would suspect that hazing has something to do with it, okay? With hazing, should you be suspended? Your organization, your chapter can be sanctioned and fined. If you're suspended, I saw a fine for $5,000. It can also happen to the individuals. You can be suspended, you can be sanctioned, you can even be kicked out of the organization and still fined, okay? It happens. So, as was said, if you hear about it, if you see it, report it, because it shouldn't be going on. Again, that's not what we're about. We are here to encourage folks to go to class, you know, focus on your scholarship, focus on community service, and focus on the sister and brotherhood that we share. Each person, I don't know these young people at all, but as far as I'm concerned, they're my brothers and sisters. For me, and I'll pass the mic on just really quickly, when I pledged, my best friend was pledging AKA at the time, Alpha Kappa Alpha, okay? We both pledged. She went over the night before I did. The day after I went over, she and I walked across our campus at Morris Brown. I had on her jacket, she had on mine, okay? Sisters, big sisters were in an uproar about it, but for me, it was more important for them to know that she's my sister. She was my friend first, and she will continue to be that regardless of the colors that she represents, okay? And if you ever hear of one organization talking badly about the other organization, that has to do with that person, okay? It goes to what was said about pride, or the young man said about pride or props. We don't do this just for the props. That's not what we're here for. We're doing it because we're proud to be in the organization, and we want to further education. We want to further community service. That's what we're here about.
I just want to also to add to that, there is a Maryland state law against hazing as well, and 44 of the 50 states all have laws banning hazing, which would include jail time and fines.
Next question. How has the Greek life influenced and shaped all of you, or some of you, into who you are and who you see yourself being in the near future?
Juwan Williams, Kappa Alpha Psi. So for me, I serve as chapter president for my chapter. I aspire to be a manager one day, manage my own company in a lot of management classes. And it's like the stuff I learned in class, it relates directly to the work that I do. I deal with a lot of brothers, and it's like, in a sense, it's like Kai said, it's a corporation, so it's a business. You at the end of the day.
Oh, y'all didn't answer the question about the barking.
I forgot.
But to continue on, at the end of the day, it's like a business. So you always want to keep your business rolling. So, to answer your question, yeah, you always want to keep your business rolling.
Malia Davis, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Just to answer your question, I'm sorry, did I cut somebody off? No, okay, sorry. Okay. My sorority has just made me more of a well-rounded person in general. It's got me more involved with public speaking, with talking to others. I have 5 sisters that I love dearly now, and I would not trade them for the world. It's just made me a well-rounded person. It's just, I love it. I never would choose it for anything else. It's just, you develop so much new characteristics. You find so much more out about yourself and how strong you are and how patient you are. It's just, it brings out characteristics that you probably would never, see regularly without, doing it.
To answer your question about the barking, every fraternity and sorority has like a call and response. So we members of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, otherwise known as the Q Dogs, we bark, that's what we do. So.
All right, so for me, I would say for my fraternity shaping me into the person I am, of course, it enhanced my characteristics and my leadership. And also, I'm the first in my family to join a fraternity or sorority. And I also grew up in a household with all women. My grandmother, she raised me because when I was age 2, my parents was out doing other things. So my grandmother took custody of me, and that has really shaped me into the person I am. I walk around my job. For a lot of people, even my manager told me, I work every weekend. I go home on Fridays, and he's told me, he was like, Kawan, like, the values you have, I wish my other employees had. And I was just like, really? And I really was thinking about that, because I was like, I've never had nobody tell me that before. So I would definitely say that it's helped shape into the type of characteristics that I carry every day.
And this is the last question.
Hold on. Let them answer, then we have a question over here. Hello.
What I was going to say, and this is to all of you and Greeks. The first job I had interviewed for higher education was at Howard University. I'm just saying. And there's a story behind it. And the lady who interviewed me was AK. So I'll come in with a Sigma Gamma Rho, have my little portfolio, Sigma Gamma Rho, and I'm like, oh, maybe that wasn't a good idea, because people said not to bring that, because you don't know what people say, especially at the HBCU. And first thing she said, oh, you're a Sigma Gamma Rho, and I said, yes. And she said, well, you're a fine woman. And I'm like, okay. Because I was like, maybe I should flip it over. I don't know what she's going to say, my goodness. And she said, one of the reasons I'm giving you an opportunity to work in the provost office at Howard University is because of those letters. And she was not a Sigma Gamma Rho. And I was like, oh, okay. And so just think of that power, because she was a provost. And so she just looked at my letters, and then she looked at my resume, of course. But then she looked at it and said, I'm interviewing you because you're a Sigma Gamma Rho, you're a Greek sister. So just take that as you all go, and whoever wants to be Greek. There's power, but you have to use the power in a positive way when you are part of the Divine Nine. You have to use it in a positive way when you have opportunities to give people. It doesn't matter if they're the same color in the organization. It's the fact that if they can do the work, and they came from a Divine Nine organization, or any, then there's something to that person.
Hello, beautiful people. My question is that I've been wanted to join an organization, since high school because I have two older cousins that's a Q, and my older cousin is an AKA, and my older brother is an Alpha. And the thing that I'm really scared about is the transferring in the process because since I changed my major is I'm doing a triple threat. So I'm doing psychology, sociology, and I'm minoring in anthropology. And I would love to experience the, she laughing. I want to experience the, I guess the Greek life. So how the process would, you know, a person who's going to a community college and transferring to a university and want to join the Greek life, how is the process?
I'll speak briefly. We have members on our stage right now who are transfer members. I know Nebby said he transferred, and really Bowie has a heavy, what you would call, commuter population. And because of that, we do have a lot of non-traditional students who don't live on campus, didn't come in as freshmen, whatever have you, and they transfer in. And I think just about every organization up here has non-traditional or commuter students who are members of their organization. So it can be done.
How you doing? I didn't transfer from a community college, but I transferred from Delaware State University to Bowie my sophomore year. So I do have some transfer, experience. Thank you. You gotta talk to the right people. Just do your research and really see what you want to do. You gotta make sure you can also prioritize your schoolwork first, because that's of course first when you come to another university. I would say get involved with other things on campus first. Definitely get yourself out there, fill yourself out, make friends, and then you can, focus more on Greek life. Because when you first transfer over to, when I transferred over to Bowie, I wanted to get to know the students more. I mean, not the students, but just the welfare of the campus.
The culture. The reason why I said, the transfer, because all of them went to a 4-year university, so their experience were different from me. I'm coming from a community college. Which I'm about to graduate this fall to get my associate's degree. So, thank you. And their experience is different from a person that just come for 2 years and have, all about speaking to existence and goals in life. So it's just, I'm kind of not say I'm nervous about what I'm supposed to do, because university and a community college is totally different, and the atmosphere is totally different. That's one of the reasons why I asked.
I would say also there's always grad. You don't have to join an undergrad. There's always opportunity for you to join the organization in which you're interested in. It doesn't have to be when you go to school and undergrad.
And can I say something as an advisor? First thing first, because I have many students that would come to my office, not so much here, but when I went there 4-year, that wanted to join a sorority and was not ready. The first thing first is your education, regardless, because you cannot join any of these organizations below a 2.7, and then some of us are higher than that. Okay, so the main thing, when I have a student who will come in and say, "Oh, I want to be a Sigma Gamma Rho, I want to be something else," I'm like, "What is your number one? What's your purpose and what your educational goal is?" You need to get there. You need to observe. You need to go to class, observe, and then when it's that time when you feel right, and like she said, I joined senior year because I wasn't playing. My mom gave me 4 years, and that's when grades were sent home with the bill. So y'all good, but so you have to be academically ready, and your mind has to be ready, or do grad.
If I may. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alicia Jackson Warren. I am the Program Director of Career Development and Internships here at the college. I am also a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I've been a member for over 30 years. With respect to your question, you're interested in transferring to a 4-year institution whereby you will have the opportunity to be considered for a historically Black Greek letter sorority. In order to be considered, you must first establish a grade point average that meets the standards of the organization and do so at that 4-year institution. We cannot consider you for membership in our chapters at a 4-year institution without you being enrolled in courses at that 4-year institution. Bare minimum does not typically meet the cut for membership. We look for scholarship excellence. So your goal is to make sure that you are presenting yourself as a well-rounded candidate, but someone who is also very sincere in their academic work. It is very important for you to get to know the individuals that you may be joining as a sister within that chapter, just so that you can be informed about making a lifetime commitment, because this is not just for when you're an undergraduate student. This is for life, okay? And also keep in mind that should the undergraduate experience not work for your life circumstances, then yes, there is an opportunity for you to join our organizations on the graduate level. There are specific requirements that must be met to be considered for a graduate membership as well. So it does require some research on your part. It definitely will require you to get to know members of the organization, and preferably people who are financial and active, because they can give you current information. That's not to say that those of us who might not be financial or uninformed, but it's ideal to speak with someone who is currently involved in the organization. You're very welcome.
Real quick, when I graduated college and joined the grad chapter of Iota Phi Theta, I had a friend that was still in college, and she wanted to join AKA that lived right down the street from me. So I told her, okay, now that I'm in a Greek organization circle, I'll see what I can do. So I've met a AKA that was a part of the grad chapter in the area. I gave her a name and all that. So she contacted her, and she took her out to lunch just to get to know her as a person. So when she did that, my friend hit me back saying it wasn't meant for me to actually do grad chapter, anything Greek organization. I was just in a hurry to actually join a Greek letter just to wear something. So I would say just take your time, and then when you actually get the chance, when you're free enough, ask a grad chapter, and then they'll work with you and actually see if you actually want to do anything, and not just based on because of your family experience or anything like that.
The last thing that I'll add to it is to understand, especially in undergrad, there's a word they use called discretion, and it just means to be wise in how you move and the things that you choose to say when it comes to your interest in organizations.
Yes, the last question.
Hi. My thing is, I got accepted to Bowie State. I actually should have been there this year, but I was a little nervous because it's a four-year institution, and I would have been living on campus, so I came here. I'm supposed to be transferring, I believe, fall of next semester, and I have been interested in being in an organization since I was like 10 or 11. So I just wanted to know, because I already know community service is a big thing. I have a lot of that already. It's just things that you guys look specifically for when you're looking for candidates, like if anyone can tell me those things, that would be great.
Why would she tell you? Why would she
Discretion.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I can answer.
My only reason for asking her that is because each of us have different requirements.
So it's all touch.
So for her, I would suggest that you do your research, like my sister over here said, do your research. Everybody has a website. Everybody has a website. The information is there, okay? Contact the school. Go and find out. Take a tour. I think one of the young men said something about tour. Your brother right here mentioned coming to Bowie State from Philadelphia and doing a tour. Go to the school, see what the life is like, okay? Walk around the school, see if you see any activities. Go to the student union building, find out whether or not any of the organizations have activities going on.
we have activities going on in the community all the time. So you can do the community service, your scholarship has got to be there, but you need to figure out for yourself what it is that you want to do, who it is that you want to be associated with, and discretion as it relates to social media. Pay attention to that, because social media can keep you from being a part of any of these organizations. Okay?
I agree with that, and I would also say, like, make sure you first have the GPA, good reputation, and that you know, like, what you're going for is really like coming from your heart. Make sure you do your research, and don't ever like tell anybody what you're interested in, because you are. I don't know if everybody can relate with this, but you're gonna have people out here that are like, nah, I don't think you should do that. Don't let anybody tell you what you want to do. After you did your research and you know that that's for you, don't let anybody discourage that. Don't listen to nobody. Like, just go with your heart, but most importantly, do your research and make sure you have the requirements.
Jawan Williams, Kappa Alpha Psi. Also, to add to what Kawan said, reputation. Reputation is a very important thing in college, because that's your image. So that's how you carry yourself. That's what people think of you. You can have a reputation without even knowing. So at the end of the day, reputation is very vital. You just always want to make sure you have a good image, because at the end of the day, no one's going to select you into the organization if you don't have a good image.
Also, one more thing. I think I can speak for the rest of sororities here that we also want to see young ladies that exude class and character, as well as have the GPA requirements and the community service. Specifically, my sorority, our principals, we want to see also our principals in our candidates as well. Our principals are scholarship service, sisterhood, and final womanhood. So I would definitely want to see that in someone that is interested in my sorority. Definitely.
Thank you.
I agree with things everybody up here said. Like Mr. Stevens had mentioned, discretion is very big. Like Jawan touched on, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So with that being said, I transferred to Bowie State fall 2017, and I just so happened to get online right after transferring. Of course, when you transfer, you start with a new GPA. So I took 16 credits, got a 3.5 GPA. I only went to the interest meeting because of my roommate. He wanted to be a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It was after going to the interest meeting with him that I decided I wanted to join this fraternity. I went to Omega Week that the Qs on the Yard had hosted, and I was at every single program, front row and center. And I didn't have to say anything to the Qs on the Yard. They knew that I wanted to be a member of the fraternity. And I went to their community service. They had a campus cleanup. I did all of those things. And afterwards, when the week was over, I discreetly put one of them to the side and expressed my interest in their fraternity. So it's a variety of ways you can go about doing so. Just find out which way is best for you, discreetly.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much to our panelists. You guys did a wonderful job. If you have any questions for the panelists as they transition, you can definitely talk to them. And at this time, I'm going to have Miss Massey to come and do a presentation as we transition. Thank you. She's just going to share some words. Thank you so much.
So my name is Yatanda Massey. I'm from Bowie State University. I'm the transfer recruitment coordinator. And I'm sitting here with so much pride because I just saw what I deal with every day at Bowie State University. I love my job. I love being on Bowie State's campus, and the young ladies and gentlemen represented why. I'm just here to let you know that we have representatives here at Prince George's Community College every Tuesday and Wednesday to work with students interested in transferring to Bowie State University. We are in Bladen Hall in the Academic Advising Wing, and we're here from 9 until 4 p.m. every day, every Tuesday and Wednesday, again, to work with students and answer your questions regarding transferring to Bowie State University. If you have any other questions, I'm out front, and you can ask me those questions at that time. Thank you.
Before you leave, we have two quick things going on. So the representatives from the Greek organizations here from Bowie State University have graciously decided to do a short presentation for you all to kind of give you a feel of what happens with the HBCU experience as well as being part of the GREET organizations. So at this time, those who are participating, if you could come to the front, the DJ will cue your music and you will do your thing. You want an introduction?
Good afternoon. My name is Ricardo Reed, member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Going first, you will have the pretty and pink ladies of Alpha Kappa and Alpha Sorority Incorporated. All right, let's get into it. And now we'll be having the men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Let's get excited. And now we'll be having the men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the one and only. What's on that? And now we be having the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And now we'll be having the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
I think that is all of the presentations that we have. We do have 2 more book raffles that we want to present before we end. In the meantime, as they're getting ready for the raffles, I really want to thank all of our participants today for agreeing to be on the panel. Most importantly, thank you for the Bowie State University administration for allowing them to be a part of this panel. Thank you to the students of Prince George's Community College for coming out and being engaged and informed. It's also always important to make an informed decision when you have that desire to be a part of a member of an organization. On behalf of the Student Academic Advising and Career Planning, am I saying it right, Alicia? Career Readiness Office and the Office of Student Engagement and Leadership, we want to thank you for coming out as well. We have 2 more book vouchers that are available, so I want to make sure you all have an opportunity to participate in that raffle. As the presenters who did a wonderful job today, the moderators for the program mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask any of the members of the GREET organization as they will be stationed out front. Do you all have the raffles?